Baker Mayfield, Mac Jones. Who has the better game? And does Mac Jones have OBJ? Take your pick.
Lobster, macaroni, and cheese has a better game. There's no question about it. I think when you look at Bill Belichick and the recipe that he's going to unleash on Baker Mayfield, the Baker man, is going to be interesting because Baker Mayfield is banged up. He's got a little bit of injuries happening with the shoulder now and the ankle. He won't be able to move around. And one of the things that the New England Patriots love to do is play a lot of man-to-man. And when you play man-to-man, that frees up the quarterback to be able to move around. He won't be able to move around, nor is he a running threat. They know that, so they're not going to worry about that. They're going to blitz the hell out of him, play man-to-man. They don't have any receivers that the New England Patriots are afraid of. With all that man-to-man coverage, watch and see exactly what Bill Belichick and the cast of characters on the defensive side of the ball put on the young man, Baker the Mayfield.
Is he lobster mac and cheese because you're now buying it?
I've always bought it in terms of what they do in the circumstances.
In terms of what it is.
In terms of what they do and what they put around him and how they're bringing him along makes him a nice buy.
Right. The it is that he can do certain things. They know what he can do. They put him in a position to succeed. That's
Absolutely.
the it. Yeah.
But I don't, lobster mac and cheese, though, they can fake you out at certain places. They give you just a little bit
just a little, no crumbles, no.
Man, they give you a little bitty mince lobster.
Yeah.
You be like, man, I just paid $70 for this.
Yeah, come on.
I'll go Mac Jones here on this one because if Nick Chubb is a no-go, without that run game, I don't see Baker putting up big numbers.
Absolutely, and I forgot about that.
Good
catch.
I'm
on
going
your
Mac
part, Jason.
Jones because of
Studying
the first thing Key said. I think Baker Mayfield's hurt. I mean, he is hurt. And therefore, I think Mac Jones will have a better game. If Baker was healthy, I would take Baker. He's not.
But the great thing about what Jason Williams, JD, said is that no Nick Chubb. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
No Nick Chubb. They really getting ready to heat him.
Ernest Johnson, though, did his thing against
He
Denver.
did,
that Denver defense, he ran
man.
right through him.
With a dude
now.
named
Dearness.
Dearness, you ain't going to be able to just keep playing like that.
I hope you can, though, Dearness. Keep playing like that if you can, baby.
I don't know what I want to name him. D or Ernest?
Stop. Leave it alone.
What you mean?
I know where you're going. Don't go down that rabbit hole right now.
Remember, Brian Burns, the defensive end for the Panthers, said happy hunting against Mac Jones to all NFL defensive ends. Browns have two of the best. That'll be an interesting storyline to follow as well. All right, take your pick. Week 10 in the NFL. Matthew Stafford versus Jimmy G. Remember, Kyle Shanahan said preseason or before the season, the offseason, he wanted to try to acquire Matt Stafford, but got beat to the punch. So, Matthew Stafford, Jimmy G, take your pick.
I'm going to take Matthew Stafford. This is an interesting game. They're up in San Francisco, but Sean McVay and the Rams, coming off that Tennessee debacle, will bounce back against a team that allowed Colt McCoy to come into their building and unleash a whooping on them. And Kyle Shanahan is coming under fire, which is deservedly on his part as the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. He was supposed to be an offensive innovator, a play caller, a quarterback guru. That hasn't worked out, and I know he took him to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but I'm not one that's buying it. I think it's, he'll survive it this year, but I think the calling is coming.
If you notice, Key, coaches who come in with hype a lot of times don't work out. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
I'm glad you're listening every
I'm
now and
learning,
then.
I'll go with Matthew Stafford in this one. Even with that bad game he had against the Titans where he threw for 2 picks, my man still has 23 touchdowns and 6 INTs. Like, it's still in the MVP conversation. And plus, I like the way he handled the presser. Like, okay, that happened. Fine. But this is an opportunity for me to get back.
I'm going Stafford all day. I see the buckets a little differently, Key, than you do. I see when we talk Prescott versus Matt Ryan, to me, that's a similar bucket, but Prescott right now is in a higher one, right? But both of them either elite or the next thing to it so far in their careers. I see Stafford in that bucket, right? But I don't see Jimmy G there. I see Jimmy G in that mid-range, somewhere in the mid-range.
He's in the second bucket, but he's at the bottom. He can't climb to over the top and look peak.
I have an extra
far
bucket than you. I have the first bucket. Then some of the dudes you have in that first bucket, I have in a middle bucket between them and the mid-pack.
I got 2 buckets, man. I
There's
got
a lot,
2.
Y'all got a lot.
I got extra buckets.
I'm confused
No,
with
I
all
got
the
2
damn
buckets.
buckets.
In other words,
I don't know what bucket is doing what.
I got 2 buckets that got about 5 people in it.
Yeah.
The first one. And in the second bucket, there's about 8 people but then there's like 3 of them fighting to get to the
Yeah.
top of the bucket.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody else is at the bottom. They can't get out.
But I see Stafford, not Dak right now, but Stafford, Dak, and Ryan I have as similar level, sometimes elite, sometimes a little less than that, as opposed, like Justin Herbert, perfect example. To me, his floor is Matt Stafford.
See, he's in the second
He
bucket.
has a chance to be higher
He's in
than
the
that.
second bucket, pulling the leg, trying to pull the other
Yeah.
guy down, but it ain't going to happen yet.
Who, Herbert? Yeah.
Yeah, he's
but
right there
But when
trying.
I see Stafford versus Jimmy G, Stafford all day.
Get down. So many buckets.
You can't get
A
out.
lot of buckets.
All right, last one.
Crabs in a bucket.
Sunday Night Football. Derek Carr versus, as Louis Riddick says, the Ferrari, Patrick Mahomes. Take your pick.
Well, that Ferrari needs to go back in the shop and figure out what he needs to do. Derek Carr's had experience in this league. He knows how to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. But here's what I'm going to say. I think Kansas City is in a position right now where the Raiders are trying to find themselves again, and they're coming off a bye. Kansas City is rolling, so to speak. They won a game last week, and they have some people to answer to. And I think Patrick Mahomes will have a better game than Derek Carr. I don't know who will win the game. I think I'm going to pick Kansas City, but I may pick the Raiders. But I think Patrick Mahomes will have a better game because he has a lot to prove, and his team is in position to steal the division, which sounds crazy. Stealing the division for the Kansas City Chiefs.
The game Derek Carr had versus the Giants, I think I saw a lot of question marks with how the Raiders are playing. And Patrick Mahomes didn't turn the ball over last week. Granted, they didn't score at a high clip, but if they continue to mix in the run game with those underneath completions, if he's able to stay disciplined in that manner, which I think he's trending in that direction, I'll take Patrick Mahomes.
I'm going to take Mahomes all day here. I like the Chiefs to win. I like Mahomes to be responsible for 5 touchdowns. Like, he hasn't had a game like that yet. And the law of averages says the dude ain't going to go all season and not have one crazy game, divisional game. I think Mahomes is going off here. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.